The few days where he was ill and he couldn't go to school, he was so disappointed, and he would cry and say, Mommy, I need to go to school. I'm going to miss out on all of the fun and learning with my friends. And I think that that is something that really speaks to the school and the classes and the environment and the community, that not one day did he say, I don't want to go to school.
I'm Glenn Herbert, and I'm an editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private schools to gain insights into their programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administrators. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
When our son was 4 years old and we were trying to figure out which school to send him to, we were looking for a bilingual program with at a school that had small classes. We just couldn't see our son in a class of 30 plus children at that age. And my husband and I, on our route to work every day, we would pass by this little school called Westboro Academy. It was a little one story building, and there was a sign outside. It said, open house on whatever date. So I went to the open house, and I immediately was drawn into the the JK teacher talking about the program, and in the classroom with all the bright colors and the little chairs and the little sections. And she said, the children, they come here and they don't know any English, but we just start speaking French to them, and we speak French to them all day long in JK and SK. We don't put them into bilingual until grade 1, where the day becomes split in half, and we teach half of the day in English and half of the day in French. And by then, when they're 6 years old, 7 years old, they're starting to develop the ability to speak French. And that's what we wanted for our son. My husband and I are both from Montreal, and we grew up in the bilingual system, and we're both fluently bilingual. We recognize the advantages of that. And so we decided that Westboro Academy was the place for our son to move into his bilingual journey. We had looked at other schools. Our other main consideration, they didn't emphasize the bilingual program. Their emphasis was time management. And we just felt that at a very young age, it's difficult to teach children about time management. So we decided on Westboro Academy. So it was speaking with her, it was looking at the website at that time and recognizing that the majority of the teachers had been there for more than 10 years, which spoke to us in terms of their commitment to the school, their commitment to the program, their belief in the bilingualism. Obviously, the runnings of the school, if a school can hold on to teachers in an independent environment, and they can hold on to them that long, to us that spoke about the leadership of the school. Very positive. You know, he loved going to school at Westboro Academy in the 10 years that he has been there, because he's been there. He started in JK and he's now in grade 8. In the 10 years that he's been there, the few days where he was ill and he couldn't go to school, he was so disappointed, and he would cry and say, Mommy, I need to go to school. I'm going to miss out on all of the fun and learning with my friends. And I think that that is something that really speaks to the school and the classes and the environment and the community, that not one day did he say, I don't want to go to school. The, Irregardless of whatever challenges there were with schoolwork that day, whether there be a math test or an English test or a presentation, he always wanted to go. And so he's always been positive at home also. Of course, there's the, "Oh, I don't feel like doing homework tonight," but his responsibility as a student, and this is, we tell him, your responsibility as a student is to go to school every day and to do the homework that is assigned to you. It's all that we ask of you, and that's all. So yes, there would be some reluctance, of course, but I think I would think that he wasn't normal if he didn't complain about having to do homework, right? So he's just been positive and really even keeled. Oh, most about being at Westboro. I think It's his teachers. In all of the grades, he's really, really liked his teachers. He's liked being with them and being in their classroom and being challenged by them, being understood by them, being respected as for who he is and the person that he is. I think that that would be what he really, really likes. You know, there's one of the teachers there that, and in grade, one of his teachers in grade 1, who he's been lucky enough to have again in grade 7 and grade 8. Um, you know, the first day of class, she says, you know, you're all my little bears and I'm the mama bear. And it's my responsibility to teach you. And that's what she does. The model that they have at Westboro Academy is one where once they get out of JK and SK, they have the same math, English, and French teacher for 2 years in a row. So they have the same teachers for grade 1, grade 2, and then grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, grade 8. And so the first year is kind of the year where the teachers are learning a lot about the children and their learning styles. And then that second year that they have them, they can really, really delve into how they learn and the best way to teach them. So there's that familiarity that they get into that second year. And I think that that is just, it's a wonderful model, and it really helps the kids learn in that second year where things can be a little bit more difficult. Community, definitely community. When we registered James at Westboro Academy, I did not have any idea of the community that we were going to be joining. The the school as a whole, because there's only one class per grade, there's only about 150 children in the school. So the kids that you're with in JK, that same class goes up. You're all together in SK, and then grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. So um, the community that that class forms with the parents, because next thing you know, you're with the same parents for 10 years. And because there's only 18 kids maximum in the class, sometimes there was only 16, but 16 to 18, the birthday parties are all of the kids together, and there have been vacations together. We have not joined them, but some of the parents have gone on vacation together. The community with the teachers, in that it's really a team that is invested in the child's learning. It's the child themselves, the parents, and the teachers. And so it's that community, and the staff and the head of the school, and everybody is really vested in the children. One one or two professional days per year, they sit aside, all the teachers and the staff, and they talk about each and every child individually, from JK all the way to grade 8. So a child who starts in JK, with the teachers being there as long as they have been, by the time your child is in grade 4, grade 5, that teacher already knows so much about my James. They know his learning style. They know what makes him tired. They know what makes him tick. So it's that overall community of learning, and just community of, it takes a village to raise a child. And that's what you get at Westboro Academy, is you really get that sense of community. I think, you know, dropping your children off every day, you see the parents, you see the other children, picking them up at the end of the day, you might chat a little bit. And I never expected that I would know James's classmates so well, that I would be able to speak to them all individually as people. And, you know, when I see them even now, they'll say, "Oh, hey, Leslie, how are you doing?" You know, and here I'm James's mother, but they're calling me by my first name and they're asking me how I am. And I think that that really, really speaks to the community that is built over time with one class per grade. I think it's a
Okay.
little bit of a social experiment, in that the children have to learn to get along with each other. You can't say, you know, I don't want my child to be in the same class as that child because they don't get along or whatever reason. They have to learn to get along. They're 18 and they start together. Some might leave, some have left and come back to the school, but it's a great social experiment in the children learning to get along with each other, to respect each other, to learn each other's idiosyncrasies, and just to learn that not everybody is the same, and maybe we're not all going to like each other, maybe we're not always going to get along together, but it doesn't mean that we can't, you know, be together in a class and learn from our teachers and learn to respect each other for who we are. I think one of the things that the school needs to do to improve is to diversify the staff and the teachers at the school to reflect the diversity of the population. Now, because a lot of the teachers have been there for a long time, the opportunities to diversify are not that often. So I think that as there might be attrition and some of the teachers move on, I think that will be the head of school and the staff's opportunity to diversify the population. So I think that would be the only thing. But regardless of that, they do have International Week, where they explore countries and the food of different countries, and they make efforts to recognize the various populations in the school and just in Canada in general. So not having the diverse staff has not affected the diverse learning in the school. Yeah, and I think that Westboro Academy, they recognize that they need to diversify, and I think there will be efforts to do so. And that will, I think that'll help also the kids of the diverse children that are there. It's nice to have the staff reflective of the population of who they are,
Right.
of the community itself. Most surprising, I think what I'm most surprised of is how he's been so challenged. And he's been challenged in science every year from grade 2 to grade 8. They have to do a science experiment. Come up with an experiment, do the experiment, make a presentation board, present it to your classmates, present it to science fair judges. I never in my wildest dreams thought that my child would be doing science experiments. And art. The art instructor that they have, and they learn art in French. Art is one of the courses that is taught in French, so they learn all art terms in French, and c'est l'art, l'art avec Madame Morin. And she actually teaches art techniques. It's not arts and crafts. They're making sculptures. They're doing wonderful sketches. They're doing paintings, as I like that painting over my shoulder. My son did that painting. I never in my wildest dreams thought that he would be producing such challenging pieces in elementary school. These they're in elementary school, and they're challenged at a young age to move out of their comfort zone, to do something different. My son doesn't enjoy art, but he still can produce something nice. So that's, I think that surprised me the most. And the opportunity to participate in, it's called La Foire de Patrimoine, the Heritage Fair, where the children have to choose a subject that is relevant to Canadian history. And once again, put together a full presentation board, do all of your research, do all of your illustrations, and put together a full presentation board, present it to their classmates. The amount of public speaking that they do also in front of their peers, their classmates, it's just so much more than I know I was challenged with growing up. And I really, really, really appreciate that from Westboro Academy. Well, the excellence, integrity, and respect, academic excellence, respect for each other, respect for elders. They allow the children in non-COVID times, the children are allowed to play in the different yards. They don't separate the children. They do have the yards that are, only the 7/8 are allowed in this yard, but the 7/8 are allowed in all the other yards. And so they are allowed to, and they're encouraged actually to play with the older children, play with the younger children. They don't have to be separated. If they want to go off on their own, they can. But very often, you'll see the older children pushing the younger children on the swings or playing tag with them. And I think that that's really important for them all to learn to play together, to get along together, to respect each other, to support each other, to help each other out. And that just goes back to the feeling of community, that we're all working together. Integrity. you know, being responsible for yourself and being able to answer for your actions and your thoughts. And it's a big word for kids to learn, but our children are sponges and they will learn whatever we teach them. And so that's another piece that I was surprised by, is that how they challenge them at such a young age. You know, at one point I remember my son talking with his friends in the hockey locker room, and James was talking about something that he was learning, and his friend said to him, "Oh my goodness, James, you know, you're so smart. Look, you know that already." And I made a very good point to tell my son. I said, "You know what? You're not any smarter than anybody else. You are just exposed to different things at the school that you go to, but don't ever think that you are smarter." And he said, "Okay, mommy, you know, I agree." So it's that piece again, the, you know, the challenge and the integrity. Okay, the values of the other parents, and this is something else I was surprised at. Um, Challenge the children. Um, a lot of just core basic values that, you know, we're all here because we're investing in our children's learning. Um, Nobody is better than anybody else at all. Um, what else? Respecting each other. Um, Togetherness, real togetherness, that, you know, supporting each other. My son's having issues finding research on something. Do you know anything about that? Oh, yes, you know, I know somebody who knows this. Or, you know, I can't, Johnny forgot his book at school. Oh, that's fine. You know, we can photocopy and send you the pages if you need them. So, and you know, that goes back to the village, and the village is investing in all of these children, and we're all kind of in this together. There is a lot of a community. We're constantly emailing each other back and forth. I remember there was one funny email exchange a few years back when the kids they were into bugs and leaves, and they're all bringing stuff home. And one of the parents put out an email, and she said, you know, I was just speaking with my daughter about XYZ, and she pulled out from underneath her bed a little treasure of some bugs and worms and eating leaves in a Tupperware container. And is anybody else, darling, brought home some surprises? And oh yeah, and then, you know, the email started, yes, and so told me this, or I wouldn't let them in the house. So just, I think that, you know, being able to email each other as parents is also speaks to the community. All of the emails always go to all of the parents, no matter what. And that, you know, speaks back to the community and the basic values of, we're just trying to raise our children. We're trying to give them a good education. We're trying to teach them the basics of life and the values of being a good person, being respectful to one another. Keep your expectations in life simple, but work hard and you'll be rewarded. Nothing comes without hard work. You know, I was really, really proud when he did a project on the Canada flag, and he did a lot of research on it, and he put together a really nice presentation board. And, you know, as much as I said that it was really well done, well, you know, his teachers thought it was well done also when he was chosen to represent the school at the regional heritage fair. So I think it's when your children are recognized by somebody else, and their efforts are recognized by somebody else. It's one thing for us as parents to say, oh yes, you know, you've done a great job, and I know you did a lot of hard work, and the mark that you get is the mark that you get. But when it's validated by somebody else, be it his peers, be it the teacher, be it, you know, another part of the community, that's when, you know, I'm really proud. But I'm also proud when, you know, the phys ed teacher selected him and somebody else to take a lead role in setting up the gym, getting to school early on Wednesdays to set up the badminton nets. I'm proud that he volunteers to do that, and he gets up early and he makes his way to school and he shows the leadership. I'm very proud that he's able to do that, and he has confidence also. He's developed confidence by being at that school. He might have been developed it elsewhere, but it's the confidence that other teachers, staff recognize a child for their dedication, their values, the way they interact with people. Westboro Academy does have a program where they award, I think, kind of every term. There's a citizen of the month for doing good deeds, and there's, aside from the academic awards, there's your citizen of the month, and there's Magie de Francais for the children who will speak French or do really well in French. So it's when your child gets one of those awards that you're really proud. I was proud when he actually, he won the science fair in grade 6 for his project on magnets and the strength of magnets. So, really proud of him for doing that. So it's when they're, when he was recognized by others that I was most proud of him, because I'm proud of my son for who he is and his values. And when I read in the report card that, he can be a model student in class sometimes because of how he interacts with others. And it's the people piece. Yes, I'm proud of him academically, but I'm also proud of him as a person, because sometimes in life, and I've told them that, what, it's the who you are sometimes that can make you more successful, above the what and the actual tangible pieces that you can produce. From the start, extremely positive and responsive. A couple of times I emailed the head of school because I wanted to discuss a particular issue of something that might have been going on, and a response right away: come in, let's have a chat about that tomorrow. Not, well, let me see when I can fit you in, but obviously it shows the dedication to the student and the learning experience. Same thing with the teachers. The teachers would let us know if, in the cases when assignments were missing, where's the assignment? James hasn't done an assignment. Where's the assignment? So nothing is ignored, which I was really, really happy about. Another thing I've been really, really impressed with is the way the staff interact with the children, and the receptionist speaks to the children in French, which I was really, really happy to see. Yes, it's a bilingual school, but the majority of the children at Westboro Academy are Anglophones, or if their first language is English. And so they're there to predominantly learn French. And the head of school and the receptionist speak to the children only in French. And it's interesting how, like, James will compartmentalize, what he learns in French. He only uses French words. It's ma cartable, mon livre. But if he's talking about English, he'll say my book or my binder. So I find that really, really interesting, how that compartmentalization happens over time. So overall, just with the staff, very, very attuned to the students, but that goes back to the fact that they talk about every student once or twice a year and decide, oh, so-and-so needs a mentor to help show them something, or maybe somebody needs a buddy because sometimes they're alone in the schoolyard. So let's find a buddy for them to be with. So just really, really in tune with the students. And that's what impressed me most about the staff at the school. And like I said, the fact that so many of them had been there for so long. Well, they're really invested in the children. Yes, I highly recommend Westboro Academy for a bilingual education, and where French is taught by French teachers, not English teachers speaking French, but actual French teachers. If you're looking for a bilingual program that's based on learning French as a first language, so it's the program that French students in Quebec are learning French. So it's not French immersion, it's true French. So if you're looking for a true French program, Westboro Academy is your choice. If you're looking for an environment where your student can't hide behind somebody else, class is not that big, there's only 18 of them in the school, in the class, Westboro Academy is where your child will be recognized as a person, as a learner, and respected for who they are. And you will make contacts with other families with the same basic value that they are investing and interested in their child's education. That is where Westboro Academy excels, and that is why families should choose Westboro Academy. If they want their children to be challenged, to learn different things, in grade 7 and grade 8, they have to do independent study units where they choose, there's 3 of them they do. One is a personal growth where they have to learn something, choose something that you know nothing about, learn it, and then make a presentation to the class about what you learned, how you went about learning it, and what you can do with it in the future. And the subjects that the children choose are diverse. It could be baking, some kids learn to sew, some kids learn to knit, one of the girls learned how to make sushi. So that's a personal growth. Another one is academic, where they choose a subject to learn about. It can be anything they want, go off, learn about it, make a presentation. I think my son, he did his presentation on computer hacking. Thought it was interesting, decided to do it. And then the third one is a community independent study unit, but unfortunately, because of COVID, they weren't allowed to get out into the community. But you know, they could choose volunteering at an old folks home. They could choose getting books for the library, whatever they wanted. So those are independent study units over and above the regular academics that they're doing. So that's a challenge. It's they have enough with the regular English, math, French, everything that they're doing, and the art projects and the science projects, and then they do independent study units. So, Westboro Academy, your child will be challenged and they will grow and they will produce more than you ever thought that they were capable of at a young age. I think my advice would be talk to parents of the school. Ask for, a couple of names, people that you can talk to that can speak to their experience as parents with the school and with the staff and their child's experience. And if you can, even get together as a family. I did that with a family who was looking at Westboro Academy a couple of years ago, and we got together in a park and we spent some time together. The children played around. They had a wonderful time. And, James got a chance to talk about certain things at school, and this person's son had a chance to ask him some questions. And we spoke as parents. And I think that is one of the most important things. It's like when you're hiring somebody for a job, you ask for references. Well, when you're thinking about a school for your child, you should also ask for references, and any school should have parents that you can talk to tap into those to the experience, the true experience of the school, because the director of admissions and the head of school, they of course have their own perspective of the school and how things run and what they're delivering to you as a parent and as a family. But it's talking to people who are on the receiving end that can really make a difference when you're making that decision and how you're going to invest in your child's education. And I really do see it as an investment. And we've told my son more times than not, there might not be anything left in the kitty when we're gone, but we will have invested in your education and your future. And that's what we feel is the best thing that we could do for him.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.